everyone, Scott the Scottman. We're here to do a driving video today. We're going to be doing another freeway tour today, this time around Toledo, Ohio, here in the northwestern part of Ohio. So we're starting off our drive today on I-75 north at the exit for I-475, also going north, and also for US 23 north. So if you're coming from southern Ohio, like Cincinnati, Dayton, or even coming over from Columbus, if you're heading to Michigan, if you're going toward Ann Arbor, or going anywhere in the central part of the state, that would have been a good exit to take. We'll be going on to 475 much later in this video. But if you're heading now into the Toledo area, like I would say central Toledo, as well as the Metro Detroit area, you would be staying on I-75. And a little fun fact too is that US Highway 23 continues to the south on I-75 north, which is very strange how you have I-75 north and US 23 south. It's one of those what they call wrong way concurrencies, because at this next exit here, that's where US 23 gets off at, and it goes along US Highway 20 for a little ways, and then 23 continues due south down toward like Fostoria, Ohio, and then eventually works its way down to Columbus. And also if you get off here too, if you go to the left, you'll head right into downtown Perrysburg. So you just take Highway 20 west, you'll go right into Perrysburg. But yeah, this is my second freeway tour I've done recently. The other one I did was in Michigan over in Lansing. Yeah, Toledo is the largest city in the northwestern part of Ohio. And it is only about an hour or so southwest of Detroit, Michigan. So yeah, what is interesting is that yeah, Toledo, it's Ohio, of course, but it has a little bit of a taste of Michigan. The reason why I say that is because this is one part of the state where you might even see people wearing Detroit Tigers shirts, Detroit Red Wings or Detroit Pistons shirts, maybe even Detroit Lions shirts. Like I saw someone wearing a Detroit Pistons shirt in Perrysburg earlier when I had lunch. Back to that in a second, but yeah, this exit here, you got two exits. The first one is for highway or Route 795, which 795 going west will take you into Perrysburg as well. And then the second exit is going to be for the Ohio Turnpike, which is Ohio's main toll road which runs through the northern part of the state, east and west, like going from Indiana all the way to Pennsylvania in the direction toward Pittsburgh. And the Ohio Turnpike is what you will use to go from Toledo over toward Cleveland to Youngstown, and then you can even continue on the Turnpike as it crosses over into Pennsylvania, heading toward Pittsburgh and eventually Philadelphia, or you can get off and continue on I-80 over in Youngstown and continue east in the northern Pennsylvania on your way over to the New York City area. So I'll show you a little bit of the Ohio Turnpike a little while or later in this video, because I'm eventually going to be heading up to I-280 to the north of Toledo. Might want to get over as I see a cop pulled over somebody, so I want to give them plenty of clearance here. So anyway, I'm going to be taking this all the way to I-280, going south through the eastern end of Toledo, going to the Ohio Turnpike, coming back to 75, and then I'm going to basically get onto 475, drive on that, and then basically conclude things by heading north on I-75, heading up to the state border between Ohio and Michigan. Okay, it should be good to get back over. So getting out of Perrysburg, we're entering another suburb of Toledo. We're coming into Rossford. So Rossford is another one of the southern suburbs of Toledo. So you have Toledo, Ohio is in 2 counties. Well, the city of Toledo itself is in Lucas County, which is generally on the other side of the Maumee River. Although there's some areas in the eastern end of Toledo where Lucas County does cross over into the south side of the river too. But there's also Wood County, which is more of a suburban county, I would say, for Toledo. So anyway, what I was talking about, it's like, yeah, Toledo, you can almost say it's like a taste of Michigan and Ohio, just because of its proximity to Michigan. And it's also like when you look at like college sports and like especially college football. Oh, now entering the city of Northwood, and I need to get out this truck's blind spot. It's kind of cruel that he's driving exactly the speed limit, but well, he's obeying the law. But I had to get out of the truck's blind spot. But anyway, like what I'm trying to say is that Toledo is technically, distance-wise, closer to Ann Arbor, Michigan than it is to Columbus, Ohio. Which is pretty much why, like, you may even see people wearing University of Michigan stuff here in Toledo compared to Ohio State. But you'll see, of course, Ohio State too, so it's like you'll see that as well. Because, yeah, believe it or not, back in the 19th century, there is a very, very brief war between Michigan and Ohio over what's called the Toledo Strip. Oh, we're now entering Lucas County here, so I guess it does go a little bit on the other side of the Maumee River here too. But yeah, it was a very brief war, if you could even call it that. It was more just a conflict than anything else. It wasn't really a full-blown war or anything like that. And we're going over the Maumee River right now. So in the end, Ohio ended up getting Toledo. However, Michigan ended up getting something in return, and ended up being the entire Upper Peninsula, which is, of course, in Michigan. Oh, if you look off to the right, you can even see the skyline for Toledo. Although it's not the best view of the skyline, the best view of the skyline would be from the bridge on I-280, especially if you're going north on that, which we will not be doing in this video. Although, to be fair, we probably would not be able to see it very well from this camera anyway. And I'm really excited to film this today because, as you can see, they're all done with the road work here in Toledo on I-75. Because for several years, they have been reconstructing I-75, like brand new pavement, like updated signage, and like major improvements. So this is really, really nice. I can probably safely get back over. Yep, there we go. And then there's no direct exit, technically, although you could take some side roads, but we just passed the Anthony Wayne Trail, which, if you were to go southwest on that, that'll take you in the direction of the Toledo Zoo, which is a very highly acclaimed zoo. Which I remember going there a couple times. It's a pretty nice zoo. But yeah, if you're going the opposite direction, I-75, there is a direct exit for the Anthony Wayne Trail going southwest toward the zoo. And technically, if you're coming from like Findlay, Ohio, or anywhere in more of the southern parts of Ohio, coming up to Toledo, going to the Toledo Zoo, you could probably get onto 475 and then get off at 24 and take that to the northeast, like through Maumee, and then continue northeast, because that'll take you in the same direction, just from a different angle. And speaking of US 24, you got the exit here for US 24, which is Detroit Avenue, and if you go west on 24, that'll of course take you out of the Toledo area toward Maumee, and then eventually heads over to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and goes across the country all the way into Colorado, where it ends up over at I-70 west of Vail in Colorado. And then take 24 east, it'll take you out of Toledo, and it'll take you up into Michigan to the western part of the Metro Detroit area before ending up at back at I-75 over in the Clarkston, Michigan area. And this exit here, this is the other end of 475. So if we would have gone on to 475 and driven in its entirety, we would end up back at this interchange. We'll be driving on that later in this video, where I will be showing the entire stretch of Interstate 475. Cars coming on from 475, so better get over. And if you're going to go off at that exit, of course, you'll head west on I-475, and that'll connect you over to US 23, and then you can continue north on that up toward Ann Arbor, Michigan, or head back to the south, go to like the western suburbs. Oh yeah, but then if you're also going to Sylvania, Ohio, like just like the northwestern suburb of Toledo, you can head over that way too. So, as a matter of fact, back in the late spring or early summer, I think it was like early June, if I'm not mistaken, I did an updated travel video here in Toledo. Got to explore downtown Toledo, check out the Great Lakes Museum, and go to a couple of nice restaurants. Oh, and here's another exit for 24. Although if you want to get to US 24 from this exit, you'd have to get off there, make a left onto Phillips Avenue, and they'll take you back over to Detroit Avenue, which is US 24. It is a pretty nice day out. It's partly sunny out right now, and my car thermometer is reading 56 degrees Fahrenheit. If you convert that to Celsius, it's around 13 degrees. So it's not too bad out for early November, early to not quite mid-November. It's like today's the 9th of November as I'm filming this video. Although by the time this video goes up, it'll probably be close to Christmas, because I have a lot of driving videos that in real time I still have to upload. So coming up in, I'd say less than a mile, we're approaching the exit for I-280, which is the eastern freeway, or the freeway that goes east of Toledo. And that is where we're going to be taking. So if we were to continue those left two lanes, we would stay on I-75, we'll head up into Michigan, heading over to Detroit. If you get off here, this will take us through the eastern parts of Toledo, and eventually it'll take us down to the Ohio Turnpike. And that's how you can go if you're going to Cleveland. So if people coming from Michigan and they're wanting to go to Cleveland, they want to if you're coming in from the north, there is an exit you can take to the right that'll take you onto I-280. Kind of glad it got a little bit more cloudy because it's covering the sun a little bit, so it's not, so that way we're not seeing as much of a glare. So if you're coming from Detroit and you're wanting to go into downtown Toledo, this exit here for Route 25, this is a good route you can take to go into downtown. Because yeah, it'll basically will take you right into the city. And then yeah, you got a plant over here for Libby Glass, which is a very big glass making company that's based out of Toledo. And we're going across a very big bridge here. This is going over the Maumee River. And you're not going to be able to see it in the video, but if we were to look over to the right, you could see downtown Toledo. I forgot what year they constructed it, but this bridge, I think, has only been around for about a couple decades, somewhere around there. Because it used to be a smaller bridge, but I think it was a drawbridge, if I'm not mistaken. But they constructed this instead, so that way it didn't have to disrupt traffic if any big ships were coming through here. Because the Maumee River will take you right out to Lake Erie. A bunch of smokestacks way off in the distance to the right. Like, you got a big industrial park over in the eastern part of the Toledo metro area. So not this exit here, but the next exit for Route 2 for Oregon, Ohio. You get off here, you go to the suburb of Oregon. You can also go over to Maumee Bay State Park, which is a state park that's right along Lake Erie, about several miles to the northeast of here. And one thing I will mention too is that Highway 2 is an alternative route, or an alternate route to go to Cleveland. Because to go to Cleveland, normally you take the Ohio Turnpike, which of course you have to pay a toll to use it. However, people who do not want to pay the toll to go to Cleveland or go to Sandusky, if they're going like to Cedar Point, Highway 2 is a good free option. Because for a little while, Highway 2, basically from here all the way to Port Clinton, is it's mostly just a 2-lane highway. But once you get to Port Clinton, it becomes a freeway, and it's a freeway going all the way to the Cleveland area. And also like the Sandusky for if you're going to like the amusement parks like Cedar Point, or even like the Kalahari Resort that's out there. And it looks like they have some nice new pavement down here too. So I picked a very good time to do this driving tour, or this freeway tour today, because they wrapped up a bunch of construction. So I'm glad I waited till now to film this, and instead of like back in the summertime. Alright, now I can get back over. But yeah, when I'm coming from the Detroit area, this is a highway I'm on all the time when I'm going to like the Cleveland area, or even if I'm driving to Pennsylvania or something like that. Yep, and we're going back into Wood County, and we are in the city of Northwood. Another one of the eastern or southeastern suburbs of Toledo. Should probably have some water. Haven't had any yet while I've been filming this. That's a lot better. We're going to be slowly starting to get into more rural areas of the Toledo area because we're starting to get a little bit outside of the metro area. Now we got a train coming on through. Yeah, Toledo may be the largest city in Northwest Ohio, but it doesn't even compare in size to cities like Columbus or Cleveland or Cincinnati, or I'd say even Dayton, Ohio. I would say now for the next, definitely for the next few miles, we're going to be more, again, as I was saying, in rural areas. And the general terrain for Northwest Ohio, it's very flat, as you can see. You don't really come across really any hills or anything like that. The only exception might be like along the banks of the Maumee River in some areas. Like you'll even notice that over in Perrysburg. Which, speaking of Perrysburg, I had some lunch over there at a place called Zingo's Mediterranean, where they had a really nice special going on, where I was able to get a full-size chicken tawuk sandwich, basically in pita, it's like a soft pita bread. Came with a very nice portion size or side of pita chips and hummus. So it was a very good meal, and I only had to spend like a little over $12 for it. So it was a pretty good deal, I have to say, especially for a lot of food. But not to the point where I was stuffed afterward. Here's Highway 795 once again. So if you remember seeing that toward the beginning of the I-75 portion of this video, where we saw the exit for 795 in the vicinity of the Ohio Turnpike. Us being in rural areas right now, it's like we're definitely seeing quite a variation of scenery in this freeway tour. But yeah, you generally don't start seeing more in the way of hills in Ohio until you get out toward the Cleveland area, going to the eastern part of the state, or especially, maybe not so much Columbus, but especially if you head southeast of Columbus, heading in the direction toward Hocking Hills and that area. If you haven't been to Hocking Hills or anywhere over in southeast Ohio, you need to go there because it is breathtaking. It's like, go to Hocking Hills, there are so many beautiful waterfalls and like nice looking cliffs there. It's like, it is gorgeous there. So I went there back in late March and it was spectacular. what's cool is that it is free. It's a free national park too. It's like when you have a national park that is free, it's like you have to go. And it's supposed to be really, it's really nice in the fall too, with all the fall colors there. Although we're past peak right now, but I always look forward to it in the fall of 2025. In fact, maybe I should head back out there sometime next year or something. All right, so we are approaching the end of Interstate 280. It's on the other side of the Ohio Turnpike. It becomes just Route 420, and that's just it's just a boulevard which takes you down to Highway 20 and Highway 23. But here's the exit to take if you want to get on the Ohio Turnpike. So we'll be doing just that. So luckily for me, I still have the Easy Pass, which I got early last year in 2023 when I did the road trip out to Massachusetts. So I've kept the Easy Pass since then. I still have it active, so I can still use my Easy Pass transponder, so that way I don't have to worry about collecting a ticket and then having to pay a cashier or anything. So this is a good way to show you a little bit of the Ohio Turnpike. So if you have the Easy Pass, you can go any lane which is labeled Easy Pass, even the ones which say tickets. But if you do not have an Easy Pass, then you have to go in the line that say tickets, so that way you can collect a ticket. So if you have the Easy Pass, you do not have to stop. You just, yep, Easy Pass accepted. So it read my Easy Pass, so I'm good to go. So you got two ways to go. If you take the right path, that'll take you over to on the Ohio Turnpike East, or Interstate 80, Interstate 90, going east toward Cleveland. So if you're going to Sandusky, Norwalk, or anywhere in the Cleveland area, or to Northeast Ohio, or even to Akron and Canton, that's the way to go. But if you want to go back to the west on the Ohio Turnpike, back toward the Toledo area, or eventually heading toward Indiana, or some of the communities in Northwest Ohio, you will want to do what I'm doing right now and head west in the direction of Chicago. Because the Ohio Turnpike continues western Northwest Ohio. It crosses over into Indiana, becomes the Indiana Toll Road, going over toward Elkhart and South Bend, before ending up toward Gary, Indiana, and then it crosses over into Illinois in the direction toward Chicago. So yeah, if you do not have the Easy Pass, yeah, then you basically will have to collect a ticket. You don't pay anything to get on the Turnpike. But when you get off of it, then you have to go to a cashier. You have to hand them in your ticket, and then they'll, depending on the distance you've driven or from where you entered the Turnpike, then you'll have to pay, and you have to pay a fee then you have to pay the toll. If you have the Easy Pass, then you basically do what I just did. You don't collect a ticket at all. They'll read your transponder, drive the Turnpike like anyone else, and then when you get off, instead of paying the cashier, you just drive on through, and it'll read your Easy Pass, and it'll bill you automatically. So it's a nice cashless way of paying for the tolls. But yeah, technically, if you live in Michigan, you really don't need the Easy Pass unless you do make frequent trips down to Ohio, or if you happen to go to places where you need the Easy Pass all the time. too. You even get a discount for using the transponder here in Ohio. You pay less price if you were to pay with cash or credit. But, oh yeah, speaking of that, they do accept credit cards too if you do drive the Ohio Turnpike. But yeah, when it comes to toll roads, though, it's like in the United States, more and more of them are becoming cashless or all electronic, to where basically you either need a transponder or you need some type of an app, or they just read your license plate and they send you a bill in the mail. So it's becoming less and less often to see toll roads in the United States where you basically stop at a cashier and you pay in person with cash or even a credit card. The Ohio Turnpike, and I think maybe even the Indiana Toll Road, possibly. Don't quote me on this though. They're still one of the toll roads out there in the United States, where they still give you the option to pay the old-fashioned way. So another thing I'll mention too is that in the Toledo area, the Ohio Turnpike only has 3 exits. The first one was the exit we got on the Ohio Turnpike, which is Interstate 280. That's practical, of course, if you're heading to the eastern suburbs of Toledo or if you're heading to Detroit. The second exit here, so 2 miles from now, will be at the exit for I-75. That's practical if you're going to go into downtown Toledo, or if you're going to go south on I-75 down toward Bowling Green, Lima, Sydney, Dayton, Ohio, or eventually down to Cincinnati. And then there's a third exit for the western suburbs of Toledo that, however, is not for I-475 and US 23. There is no direct exit for that. There is a separate exit after this. I won't be showing this video because it is not, the exit after this one is not a freeway. But basically you just have to follow signs that'll take you in the direction toward I-475 and 23. So you have to take back routes to get over there. It's kind of unfortunate, but a lot of people will do that. They're trying to get to Ann Arbor to go north, or even up to like Lansing, Michigan, Flint, Michigan, like those areas in the state of Michigan. Or if you're going like even like to Sylvania, Ohio, the northwest part of Toledo. And it's probably good I'm getting off here at I-75 anyway, because they got a lot of road work coming up past I-75, especially in the direction toward the Maumee River. Alright, so we're going to basically get off here at I-75. So as I was saying earlier, we continue west, we get past the Toledo area, we eventually would head out to Indiana, going toward South Bend, Elkhart, and eventually in the direction towards Chicago. Okay, so if you're wanting to pay the toll, or you have to pay the toll, so if you have the Easy Pass, you can use any language that says Easy Pass or Easy Pass only. If you do not have the Easy Pass, you have to go where it says tickets. Yep, and I read my Easy Pass, so we are good to go. So the left fork is for I-75 South, which is for, yeah, I actually went this one. I-75 South down toward Dayton, because I'm not going to go back the way I came, going toward Toledo. So I'm going to take I-75 South to I-475, then I'm going to be driving on 475 next. So anyway, so like if you do not have the Easy Pass, you have to follow the lanes which say tickets, and then you'll pay a cashier. Like hand the ticket to the cashier, then you pay with either cash or a credit card, and then you'll go on your way. And then again, if you have the Easy Pass like I do, it'll read your transponder. You just use any of the lanes which say Easy Pass or Easy Pass only, and then you continue on your way. You don't even have to bother stopping. So now we're starting to head back to where we began this video. But obviously this time we're driving the opposite direction. And of course you got the exit for 795 here, which you can take to go west into Perrysburg. The stretch of the Ohio Turnpike I drove on was only about maybe like 7 miles, so it wasn't really all that long. So with it being that short of a distance, yeah, I didn't have to pay a whole lot. Heck, it was maybe even less than $1 even. I'm not 100% sure though. And here's the exit for Highway 20 to go into Perrysburg, or of course going the other direction east toward Fremont. And of course, that's also where I-2 or High 20 or US 23 south continues. Oh wow! Look at all the traffic getting on the freeway here. That is a lot of traffic. In fact, I think I need to. So I'm going to be getting off at this upcoming exit. Okay, no, I have to stay over here because that lane ends. But yeah, even though I'm not showing much of I-75 South at all in this video, but it's pretty straightforward though. Like going through Toledo, nothing's really too complicated or anything like that. So here at this fork, if you stay to the left in the left 2 lanes, that'll take you south down toward Dayton, Ohio, eventually to Cincinnati. If you take the right 2 lanes, so basically the right fork here, that is for US 23 North and also I-475 North. So we're heading to Maumee, Ohio, Sylvania, Ohio, or continuing to Michigan, going up to Ann Arbor. This is the way to go. And then this immediate exit to the right, that you take Business 20 to go into back into Perrysburg, or if you can go over to, or take Route 25 south, that'll take you down to Bowling Green. So now we're going to be seeing more of the southern suburbs of Toledo and then like the western suburbs. And we should be generally done with the sun glare in this video, I would say, because we won't be going south or southwest for the rest of this video. And yeah, a lot of these different exits along 475, you got different department stores, like there's like a Costco over here, some hotels, gas stations, even some dealerships, and even some hospitals. So as I was saying at the beginning of this video, I-475, this is the way people will go if they're going not only to like the western or northwest suburbs of Toledo, but if they're coming from like Columbus or Dayton or Cincinnati. But if you're going up into Michigan, but you're avoiding the Detroit area. So let's say if you're going to Flint, Ann Arbor, Lansing, or even if you're going to northern Michigan, this is best route. Because yeah, if you're going to northern Michigan from here, you can definitely take I-75, but it's a lot longer because you have to go through Detroit, where if you take 23 to the north, you bypass Detroit altogether. And yeah, looks like we got road work coming up ahead. This time we will not be able to avoid it. Yeah, I-475 in the western part of Toledo is another area where they've been doing a lot of road work the past couple of years or so. Trying to make a lot of improvements. But yeah, looks like this one is not done yet. Township. And yeah, we're coming up to the exit for US 24. But before that, we're crossing over the Maumee River. This time for the we're crossing over for the last time in this video. And then now we're crossing over into back in the Lucas County, which will remain in for the remainder of this video. And we're now entering the city limits for Maumee. So here's the exit for 24. So if you go 24 east, that'll take you back into Toledo, also going through Maumee. And then if you're going to the Toledo Zoo, you can follow the Anthony Wayne Trail to the northeast toward the zoo. Or you take US 24 west, as I was saying earlier, you can head west toward Fort Wayne, Indiana, and of course, and then you can continue west all the way to Colorado if you're looking to avoid interstates. And yeah, if you're coming from Michigan and you're going, let's say, down to Indianapolis, 24 west, taking 24 west toward Fort Wayne is a very good route to take to get over to I-69. Well, I-469 first, and then I-69 in the Fort Wayne, Indiana area. Then you can continue south on 69 to Indianapolis. Construction project, if this is something that they're going to continue into next year or not. It very well could, but I don't know. I'll find out next year. So this exit here for Dussel Drive, so if you're looking to get to the Ohio Turnpike from 23 and I-475, this, believe it or not, is your exit. This is what I was telling you about when I was on the Ohio Turnpike earlier, where if I would not have gone off at I-75 and I'd get off at the next exit, there is an exit for US 20, which is not a freeway, but then you basically have to take US 20 to get down to Dussel Drive, and then come over here, and then you can get on to 475 and US 23 here. So it makes it rather inconvenient if you need to come over here from the Ohio Turnpike. And yeah, speaking of the Ohio Turnpike, we're going over it right now. understood why they did not make an interchange directly with the Ohio Turnpike here for 475. However, I don't see them ever making one, just because there is a lot of development immediately where the two highways meet. Because they would have to basically evict a bunch of people out of the area in order to build an interchange, so I don't see it happening. This is Highway 2, so this is where Highway 2 continues further west. So Highway 2 going west, that runs once again parallel generally with the Ohio Turnpike, and that'll take you in the direction of the main airport for Toledo, which the airport for Toledo is not all that big. It's kind of similar to like the airport in Flint, Michigan, or Lansing. A lot of people in the Toledo area, if they're looking to fly anywhere big, a lot of them will just drive up into Michigan, go to the Detroit area, and they'll fly out of Detroit Metro Airport. Because there are a lot more connections through Detroit than there are through Toledo. Something tells me I think they're going to be working on this going in the next year too, because I feel like this pavement's not all that new. So I'll have to look forward to that next year anytime I come down in the Toledo area and I'm happen to be on 475. Alright, we are out of the work zone. Entering Oak Openings region. How about that? So right now we're still like in the western suburbs right now, but we're starting to get closer to the northwest suburbs. Okay, so we got 10 miles to go, or 10 miles to go to I-75. Or if we were to stay on 23 to go north, 6 more miles to go to, or go into Michigan. Yeah, even though we're past peak right now, there's still some nice leaves in the trees right now, like a little bit of fall colors. They're starting to fade away though, but it's better than in Michigan right now, where most of the leaves are out of the trees now. Got a small exit here for 246 or Dorr Street. Don't really see anything in the way of like department stores or anything like that. It's mostly like residential. So we got a couple exits coming up. Both of them, of course, worth noting. So the first exit we're coming up to, this is going to be for US 20. Which, of course, US 20... What's interesting is that if you get off at US 20 and you go east, it curves back to the south, back toward Maumee. So it kind of runs parallel with 475 right now until it gets down to Maumee. Then it crosses over the river, over to Perrysburg, and of course gets back over to where I-75 is. And then Highway 20 West will take you west out of the area, through like the southern part of Sylvania, out to the northwestern Ohio countryside. So in 3/4 of a mile, so we have a fork in the freeway. So if you stay in the right 2 lanes, that will be the continuation of I-475, which is what we're going to be doing in this video. To head back to I-75 and Toledo. The left 2 lanes, so you take the left fork, that'll take you up into, you can also get to another exit for Sylvania, but then you'll head into Michigan in the direction toward Ann Arbor and then eventually to Flint. So we will be continuing on 475. I'm going to be heading back in the direction toward Michigan, but from I-75, not from 23. So now this is where 475 starts heading east instead of north. If they'll eventually will work on resurfacing this, because this is not really that great. That guy's going way too fast. If I was thinking, I should remember that license plate or even just the make of that car. Let's see if maybe if I keep on driving, I eventually see that car get pulled over by the police. I think I've told the story one time where this was a long time ago. I think this was, it was 20 years ago. I had just gotten my 19 or 20 years ago. Like I had either only had my driver's license for not even a year, or it's been like, or it was like a year and a half. I went for a drive with my late grandfather. We were driving on a road and we saw, I was driving the speed limit and the person decided to pass me up on a 2-lane highway going by really fast, and then I think like 4 or 5 miles later we noticed that a cop has pulled someone over and ended up being that car. So it's like, if it was just me driving, I didn't want to say it around my grandpa or anything. I almost wanted to say like karma. Oh, we got some nice fall colors over here. So we got some jumps still, even going into November. We should be getting close to the area where the University of Toledo is. We've got 7 miles to go till we get back to the I-75, I-280 interchange. So we probably only have like about another 10 minutes or so left in this video. Oh, yeah, so just saw the sign for it. So you get off at this exit here. I always not sure if it's a Secor or Secor Road. I think it's Secor Road, but yeah, let me know in the comments if it's Secor or Secor. But anyway, so this exit here, that is where you can go for the University of Toledo. So if you make a right turn at that traffic light, that'll take you down toward the campus of the University of Toledo. So let's remember that car. signs for I-75. Yep, 1 3/4 miles. I think I forgot to point out, I think we are back in the city limits for Toledo. So you're coming up about another mile from here. So if you stay in the left 2 lanes, what we're doing, we'll get onto I-75 north in the direction toward Detroit, or also the northern suburbs of Toledo. If you're in the right 2 lanes, you'll head south on I-75 back in the direction toward Dayton, Ohio, almost back to where we were earlier. We have driven the entirety of I-475. So this is something. So this is a video I-475 north and east. This is a video I did, I think, earlier this year even, where I just did 475. So it wasn't a part of this. Or I mean, I didn't do a full freeway tour. I just did 475 in that video. So we're going to be, for the next few miles, seeing a repeat of scenery. So we're back in familiar areas again, and I can probably get back over because the left lane's about to end and I'll be in the fast lane, and I might be blocking someone who wants to go crazy fast. So this works out very well for this route anyway, because after I get done with this video, I'll be heading back into Michigan anyway, back to the Detroit area, because I have to get ready to go to Germany for a week. Not for YouTube or anything like that this time. It's going to be for a work trip, because all my U.S. co-workers and we're all going to our headquarters, to our company's headquarters in Stuttgart, Germany, for a week. So because it's a work trip and I will be with my coworkers the entire time, unfortunately I will not be filming any YouTube content during the trip. So I will not be able to do that at any time, unfortunately. Although, even though it's rather old and it's not the best quality video, I do have a video on Stuttgart, Germany, when I went last in 2015, when I went to the company headquarters. But again, it's like, yeah, the video quality is not the greatest in that video, because like I've made a lot of improvements in the past decade, so it's like, heck, if I watch back that video, I almost probably would cringe a little bit. But that's all right though. But on the plus side though, it's like there's a lot. I did a lot of content, create a lot of content when I was in Australia. Because yeah, that's definitely a thing I want to start doing more of, especially going to 2025. I'll be mentioning about this a lot more later on. Back to that in a second. So we're back at the exit for I-280. So that's the exit we took earlier in this video to go on to I-280 south, heading toward the Ohio Turnpike. The left 2 lanes here, this will take us north out of the Toledo area up into Michigan in the direction of Detroit. So anyway, so yeah, one of the things I want to try to do more of going to next year is travel to more countries to basically try to experience other cultures. Of course, I've been doing that, of course, the past several years or so already, but try to do it even more. Because what I want to try to do is, of course, make content here on YouTube and even on Instagram as well too, promoting other cultures and basically help show people here that there is more. Like the world is a wonderful place. There are so many great people in this world, and we all have to come together, no matter our backgrounds, to solve life's problems because we are all the same. And we don't have to agree with one another. We don't have to necessarily think that their way is the best or their way is not so good. Or we're basically saying that it's like what am I trying to say? Basically, at least showing respect for other cultures and try to resolve differences and heal divides. Basically, because after all, we're all the same, and we all just have to come together, and because we all want the same thing in life. We all want to live happy lives. But yeah, it's a big mission and goal of mine, especially going to the next year, and something I can see continuing in the years to come. So yeah, expect to hear a lot more from me regarding this as I move forward with all these different videos, and like with my content creation here on YouTube, Instagram, and all that stuff. We're gonna be done with this video in about a minute or two, so I should probably wrap up on that topic. So coming up here, this is the last exit in the state of Ohio. So this is Highway 184, or Alexis Road. It is like the northern edge of the Toledo area. You can even take Alexis Road all the way across to go back over to not I-475, but to US 23. And then after this curve, and then the curve after that. So after this curve, and then after the upcoming curve to the left, we'll be seeing the sign for Welcome to Pure Michigan, and that is where the Michigan-Ohio state line is, and that is where we will be concluding this freeway tour for Toledo. As I begin my journey back toward Detroit, Michigan. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this freeway tour of Toledo, Ohio today. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that like button. Don't forget to click that subscribe button so that way you don't miss out on any future adventures. Well, thank you for watching, and this is Scott, or the Scottman, signing out from the Ohio and Michigan border. And welcome back to Pure Michigan.